This is Timothy Levine at the Mount Tabor Lounge in Portland, Oregon. I'm here with Jason Trost, T-R-O-S-T. We're here for his movie premiere of FP and All Superheroes Must Die. Jason, may I call you Snake?
You may if you'd like.
I liked your work in Escape from New York.
Thank you very much.
And I like the work we saw tonight. We saw two films, and chronologically, the first one was
The FP. And
FP.
the second was All Superheroes Must Die.
All Superheroes Must Die. And the FP stands for?
Fraser Park.
Fraser Park. I love the camp.
I'm a camp man.
What can
I say? I'm Campzilla.
It was campy. It was saturated. It was bright. I couldn't tell if it was the 80s or the 90s.
That's exactly where you should be.
But that's where I was.
Yeah, that's where we wanted to be.
The whole time. Wardrobe, outstanding. Cinematography, bar none, the best I've seen in a while.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's not really that's my family's thing. I mean, my brother shot him. My sister did the costumes, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a family event from what
always.
I understand. We talked a little bit before this interview about backing the film and funding.
Mm-hmm.
How did this happen with your films?
Basically, we had family or friends that wanted to give us a very, very small amount of money to make these things, and we said, we have this amount of money, let's write something that works for that amount of money, and here we are now.
And a lot of promises on the back end.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much, if I can ask, the budget for FP?
The FP was $60,000 at the end. We shot it for $45,000, and there was $15,000 in post.
Wow, you did a lot with that money. You did a lot with that money.
Thanks.
Did the favors start with props? Because we loved your vehicles we saw.
Of course.
A nice, was it 68 Malibu?
I think it's a set. You know what, it might be.
It was sweet.
Not exactly positive. It's my brother's car. That's what he drives around all the time.
See, these are the favors that help us as filmmakers. Right on. Okay,
exactly.
good. Let's see. Other things I noticed in the movies were some of the actors. I'm just going to describe him. Ben Stiller, the guy with the bandana. Who was that?
That was Art Sue, I believe.
Okay.
Or, I mean, actually, a couple people have bandanas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was the Asian gentleman.
Are we talking about the Asian gentleman or the large white man?
That was the second one I was going to get.
Okay, so are we talking about the large white man?
Yeah.
Okay, the large white man that looks like Ben Stiller, who's like 6'7", is Nick Principe.
Okay. They didn't seem to be that big on film.
He's massive.
Okay.
But,
a lot of apple boxes with you?
No, actually. I mean, I'm like 6'2" myself, so that panned out. But there was some other people that had needed some apple boxes. But he's crazy. He's awesome.
All right.
He's mostly in horror movies, and he usually has a mask on. And we're like, how about without the mask? Let's see what happens.
Nice. I liked him unmasked. He had great stage presence. I have to ask, who's your dentist, Jason?
Dentist?
You had so many gold teeth in that movie. Where'd you get the props?
We actually online we got a lot of gold teeth and grills from like some sort of. It's not something as dumb as grills.com, but it's something like that to where it's like $20 and you get like gold diamond teeth. And we went through several of them for sure.
I'll have to talk to you about a movie I'm making. Yeah, maybe we can help each other out. Distributors. We're in Portland, and you're from LA.
Yeah.
I hear LA is an asshole.
LA is an asshole.
Do elaborate.
I don't even know how to. I mean, that's a huge.
Well, we talked. I mean, you work full time in this industry.
Yeah, in LA.
In LA.
Yeah.
But you pay for it in your soul and your rent.
Your soul and your rent and all that. But like, I mean, trying to get a movie fund in LA is just one of the hardest things ever. At the point where it's just like, well, if I know somebody anywhere that needs like a tax write-off, that they have like 10 extra grand rolling around, they need to like get a loss for the year. Let's give them a call and let's try to make a movie and see what happens. That's pretty much how all of my movies have been made.
Okay.
Because there's so many people trying to make a movie. It's like, why would they let a Dance Dance Revolution white trash movie be made? They won't.
It's one of the biggest risks and gambles.
Yeah.
You know, even if
aside
you do have
a slot machine and Prim, like it's
it's a bad bet.
Yeah.
It's a really bad bet. But those are really good movies. They have their place, maybe not at Sundance.
No, absolutely not.
I heard you were at Sundance this week.
Nah, Sundance doesn't want any part of me. I was there. They don't want my kind of style.
They don't want,
they don't want me there.
It's because you probably have too much style for Sundance.
I've got something. I got a little attitude for Sundance.
Did you see any good movies while you're out there?
You know, I wish I did. There were people that I was with that were there for movies, but I don't think any of us really watched them in the end. We kind of just hit up the party/experience.
So it wasn't that you saw movies and that they were bad. It was just you didn't see the movies.
I didn't see movies. Yeah, that was the issue. I didn't even know I was going to Sundance until like 2 days before. So.
All right, so you weren't coming as a filmmaker to.
No, I was just coming as a guy going to the Park City for the weekend.
Right on. And it's cold there.
It's very cold.
Especially
that's why everyone in Portland's like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, this is actually summer at Park City right now.
Oh, they don't know from cold. I'm from Chicago. So
well, that's true. Good. That's fair enough.
So, distribution.
Yes.
You're in Portland tonight. Mm-hmm. How did you make that happen?
I have a lot of friends that live in Portland. I've worked in Portland before. I've worked on commercials and things like that, and I've just got buddies that work up here, like the production designer from the FP lives up here, Tyler Robinson, and I've got a lot of friends from Portland. If Portland was 2 hours away from LA, I would just live here because I feel like it's where my sensibilities are.
That's kind of what Sean Penn was saying when I talked to him on the set of Into the Wild was, if I could, I would.
If I could, I would.
But we don't have yet the production company.
We are just too far away.
Yeah,
until they get the installation of all that, I can't do it.
We're getting there. We're getting
yes,
there.
I know.
With a couple more NBC shows.
Yeah, I think maybe in like 5 years, perhaps I can
Yeah.
make the move and not have to deal with LA anymore.
So LA, you work there as an actor, filmmaker, director.
Grip, costume assistant, special effects man, blah, blah, blah.
Because that seems to be the thing that happens here too. We take on a lot of hats.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you want to do this full time, I think you kind of have to.
You have to, and it's like if you want to be a director, I feel like it's kind of like where you have to be the captain of the ship, where you should know how to do most of the jobs on the ship. Like otherwise, you have to at least give the illusion that you're kind of like an immature like father figure on set. Otherwise, like nobody's going to give you any respect. Yeah.
No respect. The two directors we mentioned earlier, you had two directors on superheroes, right?
There was one director on superheroes.
So again, you had two directors on FP,
on the
right?
FP, yeah.
Okay.
Which were just my brother and I, which is just like, it's just the two heads of the dragon at that point.
The family thing.
Yeah, it's the family thing.
Have you guys been doing films since since you were 8 years old, stuff like that?
We've done a lot of stuff since we were kids. There's a lot of like Super 8 stuff, a lot of like, mini DV and that, and like G.I. Joe movies and all that, and always arguing, and it eventually led to this.
Well, it seems like we have a lot of commonalities with people in LA that are doing independent films. In Portland, we have a family, the Freeman brothers, that work on some good films in town.
Yeah.
And they help each other out and get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because it's hard to rely on outside.
It's very hard, and if you're going to do a movie independently, it's like you need the extra help.
Yeah.
Because when most people direct, what people don't know when you direct a big studio movie, it's like, yeah, you're the one director, but you have 3,000 people working for you. So like, I want this, this, and this. I'm going to go hang out in my trailer for 6 hours, and you guys go do everything I just said. It just becomes Minority Report, and you're just like throwing things around, and then they walk away.
Right.
When you're in a low budget movie and you're in like a superhero costume that's a sweatsuit, and you're just dying, and it's like you're loading explosives and doing craft service and these things at the same time. It's not the same experience whatsoever.
We're a Renaissance man.
Yeah,
we kind of have to be.
Exactly.
Right on. So, where are you going next? What are you doing next?
Next, I'm going back to LA, and I'm trying to get a real job with my brother. He's finally back in town. He likes to shoot his big $100 million movies and this and that, but he's finally got a window in his schedule, and we're going to try to actually make an actual maybe studio movie. We'll see.
Nice.
And
I'll send you my resume.
Yeah, send me your resume. But
I'm on IMDb.
I mean, if we do a studio movie, it'll be one studio movie, and they'll get freaked out, and then I'll be back right here again next year.
Same place.
Yeah.
So SAG, low budget, modified films.
They're very interesting. It's a lot of work because you have to like put into the fact that it's like you can only work your actors for 8 hours a day. So you have to like budget that all around to where it's like, okay, we're going to spend 2 extra hours prepping both in the front and the end of our day of shoot. So we can have a 12-hour day, but it's like we have to know what we're doing. We go and only shoot for 8. Everyone else shoots for 12, 14, 16, whatever. And it's a very hard process.
And I would assume it's a hard process to go from nothing to something.
Yeah, it's very hard going from nothing to something. It's like when you're in high school making movies with your dad's video camera. It's like, okay, hey, everybody just come over and we'll make something. We'll see what happens. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, there's legalities to this, and we have to do this and that. And it's like, wait, I don't know how to produce a thing. I don't know what paperwork is. And then, you have to hire someone, or like we did, we don't have the money to hire anybody, so you have to learn everything. And it's like you have to like learn all the like tropes of like SAG modified budget, or is it SAG new media, or is it this, that, or the other thing. You have to figure out like loopholes and this and that when it's like we're making a movie for $5,000, but SAG still wants their 20% cut of that.
Right.
It's a whole thing, and it's very hard, but like, definitely it's worth it in the end. But we did it.
It's a learning experience.
It's definitely a learning experience.
Jason, your online presence, viral presence, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Tell me about your model there.
The model with online presence is, like when I was in high school, I didn't even know what the internet was. It's like I had dial-up, I was in the mountains. It was like, my computer, an 8 gigabyte hard drive, and now it's like we're dealing with things where it's like Twitter, you can reach hundreds of thousands of people, and like it's a whole new medium where it's like if I say something on Twitter, everyone knows about it, and the point where it's like, oh, if I say my movie's releasing on Monday, thousands of people know about it, which is a whole new thing. And like the fact that you can just release a movie yourself, like you can go on Amazon Instant, you can go on Netflix, you can go on iTunes, do all these things yourself. It's like this whole new market that's just magnificent. Like I never dreamed that like you could just make any movie you wanted and just release it to everyone.
To millions,
at that point. Yeah,
possibly.
to millions of people. I mean,
If you post at the right time.
if you post at the right time, you post at 6 p.m. when everyone's just before
right.
dinner, like you might actually be able to get all those hits.
And you might actually get distribution and a deal, because I've heard of a lot of stories about people who have had shorts on YouTube and they get a deal from that.
It's the crazy thing, like you can get YouTube rentals, you can get all this stuff, like you can make money from hits on YouTube if you're monetized and this and that. And like back in the day it was like, okay, so we're gonna try to release our movie in a theater and see if it makes any money. Like, but they don't realize like it costs $30,000 to release your movie into like 3 theaters or something, but now it's like a click of a button and you can just release your movie everywhere.
Believe me, I know. I work for a theater. That's what I do is booking films, and it's hard.
It's an odyssey.
There's insurance.
It's an odyssey. Now you click a button.
Right.
And like I think that opens up such a world. Like I mean, it opens up a whole world of crap, but it also opens up a whole world of creativity.
Right. And with that said, what addresses, links do you have now that I can tell our listeners?
If you want to deal with it, I have at the JTRO, THEJTRO. I'm generally on there, mostly drunk, talking about my perspectives.
You'll see that about
the internet.
Here. Again, that was
at the JTRO. And I also have a fan page on Facebook, which is simply just Jason Trost, and you can find him. And he talks about a lot of things that goes on with his movies and other such things, and his false opinions about the world. And you can see what happens.
Yeah. And your next theater that you're going to is going to be where? You're leaving here?
I'm leaving Portland, and I'm going back to LA. I think this is the end of my run
at this
point.
Okay. We'll hope to continue that run here in Portland.
Well, thank you.
And show your movie in a couple more theaters. We wanted to thank you for coming and spending some time after your Q&A. It's been a long night, but I appreciate you being patient with us.
Yeah, of course.
And it's kind of cold in here, so get to your hotel room and warm up.
Yeah, will do.
And thank you again, Jason.
Yeah, no, anytime. Thank you very much.
Again, that was Jason Trost. And you can find his movies on Amazon.com, Netflix, and Twitter. You got a presence on Twitter too, is that correct?
That is correct. You can find me at the JTRO, THEJTRO, because Jason Trost was taken.
Okay.
That's where it's at.
Right on. Then we'll be checking that out, and we'll be checking Jason out next month at the Bob White Theater for Portland's Rockin' Film Fest #4. That'll be February 23rd at the Mount Tabor and 22nd at Bob White. Jason, have a great trip back to LA.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And this is Timothy Levine for the Portland Film Company. Thank you very much.